Deep in the murky depths of the Indo-Pacific lives the ocean's most extraordinary shapeshifter. Meet the mimic octopus. At first glance, it seems like an ordinary cephalopod, but appearances are deceiving. It can flawlessly impersonate over 15 different species. Here, it flattens its body to glide just like a toxic flatfish. In an instant, it spreads its arms wide, mimicking the venomous spines of a lionfish to ward off predators. By tucking into a burrow and leaving to arms exposed, it becomes a deadly banded sea snake. This isn't just instinct, it's high-level intelligence. It constantly observes its surroundings to choose the best disguise. With a decentralized nervous system and 9 brains, it coordinates these complex physical transformations with ease. Using its wit, it forages across the seabed, outsmarting prey and predators alike. Once the danger passes, it vanishes, blending perfectly into the background through masterful camouflage. Discover the wonder of the mimic octopus, nature's ultimate master of disguise.
All right, we're about to meet what might be one of the most astonishing creatures in the entire ocean. And this isn't just an animal that's good at hiding. Oh no, it's a true master of deception, an actor with a whole cast of characters it can play. Welcome to our explainer on the absolutely incredible mimic octopus. But first, we have to start with a puzzle. I mean, think about it. An octopus is basically a soft-bodied, delicious meal just waiting to happen. It's got no bones, no shell, no armor at all. So how on earth does a creature like that survive out in the wide open, with literally nowhere to hide? And here's where the story gets really interesting. Your typical octopus, well, it solves this problem by living in a fortress, right? A complex coral reef full of nooks and crannies to escape into. But the mimic octopus, it lives out on a completely barren stage. Exposed, sandy, silty seabeds. It is the most vulnerable place you can possibly imagine for a creature like this. So what you have here is a creature that seems to break all the rules of survival. It's a walking contradiction, an octopus that thrives where it really should be just an easy snack. And that's what makes its story so utterly fascinating. And get this master of disguise was so good at its job that science didn't even officially know it existed until 1998. Can you believe that? It was hiding in plain sight the whole time, right off the coast of Indonesia. So how does it do it? How does it manage to survive on that dangerous open seafloor? Well, let's get into its secret weapon, its absolute mastery of disguise. This is, hands down, one of the most advanced forms of defense in the entire animal kingdom. To really appreciate its genius, we need to look at the standard octopus toolkit. All octopuses have these incredible muscle-controlled skin cells called chromatophores. They let them change color and texture in the blink of an eye. It's how they match their surroundings, to just blend in. But the mimic octopus, it takes this to a whole other level. It doesn't just blend into the background. Nope, it actively transforms itself, deliberately impersonating other, more dangerous animals. It's not hiding. It's putting on a show. And this isn't some one-trick pony. This octopus has a whole repertoire of characters it can play. So it's time for a little showcase from the ocean's greatest actor. First up in its performance, the dreaded lionfish. Just look at how it does this. It spreads all 8 of its arms out into this dramatic, spaky fan. Then it just drifts slowly, perfectly capturing the silhouette and the movement of a venomous lionfish, which most predators know you just leave alone. It's not just looking like a lionfish, it's acting like one. Next in its arsenal, the humble but toxic flatfish. To pull this one off, it completely changes its shape again. It pulls all 8 arms together into a single leaf-like form, flattens itself against the sand, and then glides along with that signature wave-like motion. Just like that, it becomes a completely different animal. And now, for what might be its most brilliant impersonation, the deadly banded sea snake. This is just pure genius. It dives into a burrow, hiding 6 of its 8 arms completely. The two arms it leaves out, it stripes them in bold black and white and waves them in opposite directions. To any predator watching, it looks exactly like a venomous sea snake poking out of its hole. So what we're seeing here isn't just some automatic reflex. It is not just a cool party trick. This level of mimicry, this performance, it points to something much, much deeper, a stunningly advanced intelligence. Which of course begs the question, is the octopus just picking a disguise at random, or is there a conscious strategy at play here? Is it actually thinking about which costume it should wear for which occasion? And this is where it gets really incredible. So when a mimic octopus is being harassed by territorial damsfish, what does it do? It doesn't turn into a lionfish. It turns into a banded sea snake. Why? Because sea snakes are a natural predator of damsfish. The octopus is choosing the perfect disguise to counter a specific threat. This is tactical, situational decision-making. And this behavior brilliantly illustrates what scientists already know. Octopuses have a massive brain-to-body ratio. They can solve complex problems, and to pull off these kinds of impersonations, it almost certainly requires some form of visual self-awareness. It has to know what it looks like to other animals. It is, without a doubt, one of the smartest invertebrates on the planet. So what do we take away from all this? Well, the very existence of this one species completely changes our understanding of what's possible in the natural world, and it makes you wonder where else we might find intelligence. It's so extraordinary that even the scientists who named it couldn't help but express their awe. Its official scientific name, Thaumoctopus mimicus, literally translates to the wondrous mimic. It's a name that just perfectly captures the magic of this animal. And that leaves us with one final mind-bending thought. If a soft-bodied creature living in the mud at the bottom of the sea can develop this level of strategic, shape-shifting intelligence, what other incredible minds and abilities are still out there, just waiting to be discovered? All right, today we're pulling back the curtain on a performance so convincing it might just be the greatest show on Earth. We are on the hunt for a true master of disguise. So, who is it? The greatest actor on the planet? You might think, maybe a chameleon? A stick insect? The answer is, well, it's gonna surprise you. We're talking about an animal that takes method acting to a whole other universe. And here's your next clue. To find this performer, we have to go underwater. Yeah, this star doesn't walk a red carpet, it glides right across the ocean floor. Okay, so let's dive right in. Before we can really appreciate the performance, we need to meet the performer, right? So what is the daily life of this incredible creature actually like? So this is the mimic octopus. And what's immediately weird about it is that unlike most of its cousins who are nocturnal, this one is active during the day. It lives a pretty solitary life, has a super short lifespan, we're talking maybe a year or two, and then, in a pretty dramatic finale, it reproduces only once before it dies. It really lives life in the fast lane, right out in the daylight. And all that daytime activity, it's all about the hunt. It forages out in the open sand, using its arms to probe into burrows, flushing out little fish, crabs, and worms. And once it catches its meal, it uses a venomous beak to immobilize it. So yeah, it's a clever and very active predator. But being a good hunter isn't what makes it a star. Oh no, this is where it earns its title as the master of disguise. This is the real art of its deception. So the key thing to get here is how different this is from other mimics. Most animals that use mimicry are static. You know, think of a stick insect. It looks like a stick. That's its one trick. A very effective trick, but still just one. The mimic octopus, on the other hand, is totally dynamic. It doesn't just have one disguise, it has an entire wardrobe of them. So how on earth does it pull it off? It's this incredible combination of 4 abilities. First, it changes its color and skin texture instantly. Second, it can contort its boneless body to change its entire shape and form. Third, it actually alters its behavior and how it moves to match what it's impersonating. And fourth, and this is the absolute genius part, it seems to intelligently choose which disguise to use based on the situation. And this is just a brilliant example of its cleverness. Get this, it sometimes walks on 2 of its arms, holding the other 6 up, just to look like a piece of a drifting coconut or maybe some algae. It's turning this simple act of moving from point A to point B into just another layer of its masterful deception. But like many of the world's greatest artists, this fragile genius faces some very real-world dangers. The stakes for this performer are incredibly high because its entire world is under threat. And these challenges, they come directly from its habitat. Because it lives in these shallow coastal mudflats, it's extremely vulnerable to human activity. Coastal development degrades its home, pollution poisons its waters, and of course, its unique abilities make it a huge target for the illegal aquarium trade. And why does this matter so much? Because we are talking about something that is truly unique. There is no other known animal on this planet that can combine dynamic changes in color, texture, shape, and behavior with what really looks like intelligent situational decision-making. It is, without a doubt, a one-of-a-kind performer. So as we close this out, I want to leave you with this thought. The mimic octopus gives us this stunning glimpse into a brilliant, almost alien intelligence. And it just makes you wonder, if an octopus can be this clever, what other profound mysteries are still waiting to be discovered inside the animal mind?